Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Here with Jeremy. Gonna talk 2022 outlook, hopes, dreams, strategy, you name it. But first things first, Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Happy New Year, Jason.
Yeah, happy New Year, happy New Year. No, awesome, awesome. Well, let's dive into it. Obviously, you guys ended 2021 with a bang. Chamath comes in. Some huge updates. I guess where do you want to kick things off? We can talk general timeline, hopes. What do you guys hope to accomplish in kind of 2022? What are big kind of statements you guys want to make and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, perfect. Well, maybe I'll begin with a quick little recap of 2021 or how we finished 2021, since you alluded to it, which was, to talk about building some real solid momentum into turning into the new year. Could not be happier. I think on three of the most critical fronts we had big major milestones. So obviously, first and foremost, announcing our first commercial user. That it, such a shot in the arm for engagement for the organization, and really, proof and validation of our commercial model, our go-to-market model, and couldn't ask for a better first user in Dr. Amelia Tower. Somebody who is an eager, willing adopter of new technology, super excited about what we have. And I think she'll be, kind of shouting from the rooftops about what she's already experienced in, whether it be, an influx of referrals from her primary care physician network, or just general patient outcomes. Thrilled to have her on board, and she'll be a great partner and thought leader for us going forward. Very closely following that, the first patients enrolled in our Atlas AI pivotal study. So just as a quick recap, this is the clinical validation study for our breast artificial intelligence to help users with our AI-enabled algorithm that can interpret the images of breast cancer for the future users of that technology. Thrilled to have that study off and running, off to a great start. West Cancer Center being our first clinical site up and running. We've got 3 surgeons operating there, the lead investigator being Dr. Richard Fine. Could not ask for a better thought leader there as well. So a guy who has been instrumental in just education and certification around breast ultrasound. So again, what a better kind of cookie cutter template to apply to OCT and the education initiatives we want to run with OCT. And then, closely following that, he's also the chair of the advisory committee for the Coding and Reimbursement Committee at the American Society of Breast Surgeons. So as we're wrestling through, coding and reimbursement and pay-per episode of care kind of things, a great partnership to have close to the technology and help us along through that process. And then last but certainly not least, we announced the private placement led by Social Capital. Thrilled to have them into the story. The background and their kind of focus on tech companies and what they can do to really challenge us to think bigger about our AI and our data and all of those things has already been off to a very exciting start. So closing the year very, very strong. We look to have that transaction closed in the very, very near future. And then we'll be off and running into 2022. So really exciting.
Oh, love it. When you guys kicked it off, I'm gonna take some of the thunder, but you guys kicked off 2022 with a with a dinner with the big man. You guys shared on
Yeah.
social media. We'll make sure it gets in here. But tell me, how was that?
Yeah, that was very, very exciting. I think the timing of the announcement and the signing, delayed us by a few weeks of actually getting together, post diligence to talk through the path forward. And Chamath coming down, having dinner, having a deep strategy session on an operational review, and really tearing apart everything that it is we're doing, where we've been, where we're going, and again, I can't reiterate enough how thrilled we are to have them be part of the story and helping us think a little bit bigger about where we can go. And now we're, less capital constrained, so can kind of put our foot on the gas on a number of different fronts from that perspective.
Yeah, love it. Well, and you kind of allude to strategies. So you have a nice strategy session with Chamath. I mean, maybe let people know, is there any massive changes in strategy? What is the kind of timeline strategy for 2022?
Certainly, yeah. I don't think there's any real changes. Obviously, we were pretty closely aligned into going into things. I think, the timeline may be a little bit faster now that we have a different looking balance sheet than we had, before the announcement. So, commercially, still very, very excited about what we're doing with the S series device. And again, just to reiterate the thought process and strategy around there is, these commercial efforts through 2022 and into early 2023 are really foundational building from a user base perspective. We want to generate that critical mass of expert users that have the technology before the AI, so that we can have that, what I would call an army of evangelists, so that when the AI comes and the technology is effectively democratized, we have that user base that we can call on as reference sites, as educators for peer-to-peer needs and conferences and all of that stuff. So the commercial team's off to a great start. Every day I'm hearing about a new demo taking place at a new facility, and the buzz from our surgeon community, whether they're in the evaluation phase or in the or our active users, is phenomenal. And obviously Omicron is not helping the cause there, just like we experienced in 2021. But proud of the way the team's been creative and found a way to get the technology in the hands of users to start practicing with it and getting familiar with it. So expect the momentum to continue building there as we move on into later in the year and beyond. And Steve Sappett, our Chief Commercial Officer, is actively out active on the recruiting trail, so looking to build out that team, get some more feet in the street, and excited about what that team has to deliver for sure. Then certainly don't want to take our eye off the ball on the Atlas AI clinical study. We've announced a couple sites starting in that pivotal study. We'll slow down with the announcements on that as each site rolls up, but continuing to build patient enrollment there. So big things happening. The early feedback on the AI and what that's brought to the technology has been really positive. And both West Cancer Center and Baylor College of Medicine are both off to a great start there. So looking forward to getting more sites up and running on that and getting through patients, and still expect to be through all of our patient enrollment this year, and looking to have the marketing application submitted to the FDA by the end of the year. And hopefully we get the kind of results we expect and can have that technology cleared in early 2023. And then, I think the one thing that we started to talk a little bit more about late last year is thinking harder about what's next. And that's a great opportunity. And coming out of the strategy session with the social capital folks, really giving it a hard look on how to reevaluate what we're doing for other tissue types. The feedback from the field has been the more users we have, the more opportunities we have to expand our tissue indications. It's great. Whether it's a general surgeon that's doing breast cancer and says, oh, when can I use this on pancreas? Or, the head and neck surgeon hearing about it, that it's being in the OR and saying, I want to get my hands on this and play around with it in my surgeries. So lots of exciting customer feedback coming that we're feeding into our product development channels. But in addition to that, I think probably a little longer term in nature, but different user communities are really raising their hand, wanting to get their hands on the technology. So, whether it's an interventional radiologist thinking about biopsy, or a pathologist thinking about all the things they can do post-op and downstream from the surgery, we kind of look at it as a continuum of care, right? So we should be there in the diagnosis, we should be there in the treatment, and we should be there in the analysis. And lots of things starting to get up and running around all of those fronts. So really exciting.
A lot to unpack. Holy, the biggest thing there, at least I think, though you had 20 things that are insane, starting to get that crazy customer feedback where you've got, surgeons within the same hospital getting jealous that one of them has it using for something else. And they're, you're starting to already talk about, hey, this is how we're going to grow. And I'm sure we're going to get a ton of questions about what you talked about. We'll definitely do a Q&A video here coming up soon. I'm sure a lot of people have some interesting questions. But Jeremy, that sounds like a pretty packed 2022, and going forward. So exciting times. Anything else you wanted to fit in? Like you crushed it. The passion's incredible, the momentum's credible, and really seems like you guys are advancing at light speed now. So congratulations.
Yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for that. And yeah, we're, like I said, I can't say enough about how engaged the team is across the whole organization. And, if you look at our social media feed, when you have, pictures like Dr. Tower holding the sign about how excited she is with the technology, and really, the full feedback loop is coming from patient testimonials and all of that. It is great for the team, and we're firing on all cylinders at the moment. COVID notwithstanding, but we're overcoming that, which is, really can't say enough about how proud I am of the team and how excited we are for the year. And yeah, so looking forward to continuing on all of those kind of value creation streams. The one thing I guess I haven't really talked about is, our path to uplisting and how things look differently, now that we have a little bit different level of sponsorship from the U.S. market. So continuing to work in that direction. We obviously have a lot of foundational pieces to put into place before we're ready there, but thinking ahead to that as we go through our, year-end audit schedules and reporting schedules and all that stuff, and with an eye on that in our near-term strategy for sure as well. So
Well, that's a great little tidbit there. Yeah. And obviously, welcome any questions. You guys have to get through your audits. And then, of course, next steps are next steps. But we can, of course, answer any questions about that if people have them. But Jeremy, I think this was an amazing kind of just general 2022 outlook. Again, want to invite anyone with questions, please drop them below. We'll make sure we do a kind of pretty engaging Q&A video. But thanks so much again for joining. Congratulations. We're starting 2022 off with an absolute bang. So love that. And thank you so much for joining.
great. Thanks for having us again, Jason.
Awesome.